So what is this about? This horrible place to visit and a miserable place to live. Only 56,000 people there, but massive amount of land, a lot of resources there. And I've said all along. So is Trump going to bribe these 56,000 people to sign on to become America, to assert their right of self-governance and pay them off with our money and then turn the natural resources over to his buddies? There's an interesting op-ed piece on RT from Konstantin von Hofmeister. What's his name? Hofmeister, von Hofmeister, a political cultural commentator from Germany, author of a new book, Multipolarity. And so his take on it is a little bit different. He says, here's why Trump really wants to get his hands on Greenland and Canada. He says, in a world caught between ecological limits and technological ambition, the revival of long dormant vision of the Technate. When he talks about the Technate, he's talking about what we call the technocracy. But he's really, technocracy is a form of government. He's talking about the Technate as being the people, the people, all these billionaires, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, and you got Apple's. I think Tim Cook was there. I know that Sundar Pichai was there from Google. And, of course, Musk and all the rest of them all lined up. Zuckerberg, Meta, and Facebook. They're all lined up there. I've never seen that before. The Technate billionaires. The long dormant vision of the Technate suggests that America's future may be shaped not by traditional geopolitics, but by the pursuit of industrial autarky, resource control, and the promise of a self-sustaining technocratic order. And of course, this is something that has been talked about in a great deal by the Huxleys, the grandfather of Aldous and Julian Huxley. Aldous Huxley gave us Brave New World. Julian Huxley coined the term transhumanism. And their grandfather taught H.G. Wells, who gave us these ideas of technocratic rule in terms of things to come in the movie, The Shape of Things to Come. I forget which one's the book and which one's the movie. And the grandfather of Elon Musk, Joshua Haldane, who was in Canada. He was brought up on charges, tried, beat the rap, and beat it out of Canada, went to South Africa because of all this stuff. So it was really the vogue in the 1930s that the technocrats were the ones who should rule everything. So getting back to this op-ed piece, he said it was an unexpected move, bewildering analysts across the globe. After securing victory in the election, Trump did not immediately focus on the perceived strategic rivals like China, Russia, or Iran, as the geopolitical forecasters had so confidently predicted. Instead, his gaze settled on Canada, Greenland, and the Panama Canal. Territories that at first glance seemed disconnected from the expected choreography of American foreign policy ambitions. A lot of people are saying, what is this about? You didn't talk about this. And I voted for him. I didn't vote for him to take over the Panama Canal or Canada or something like that. Well, he was owned by the technocracy. That's what they want. This pivot raised a chorus of speculation and debate, many theories put forward, yet among the multitude of explanations, only one has managed to weave together the strands of Trump's apparent unpredictability into a coherent narrative. This theory traces the logic of these moves back to a long-forgotten vision of the technocratic society that emerged in the early 20th century within the United States. The roots of this idea, known as the Technate, lie in the vision of a society governed not by politicians or financiers, but by, or I would say, lawyers, but of course I guess that's being redundant for the politicians. Not governed by politicians or financiers, but by scientists and engineers, guided by the principles of efficiency, technological mastery, and resource optimization. And again, that is key with the things to come, or the shape of things to come. And H.G. Wells, I think, he lays that out precisely. In the worldview of early technocrats, economic systems based on arbitrary currencies and speculative markets were seen as chaotic relics of the past. They wanted to get away from currencies. They wanted to get away from stock markets. They wanted to get away from these economic systems and the politicians. Instead, they proposed that energy itself, measurable and quantifiable, should serve as the basis for all economic transactions. And really, there was a kind of an echo of that when Henry Kissinger, one of these globalists, if ever there was one of the key globalists, when he created the petrodollar, what he did was he wedded the fiat currency of the United States, and Bretton Woods too. He wedded that to energy, in a sense. But these people were saying, no, we're just going to price everything in energy. Think about how they want to, with digital surveillance, they want to look at all of our transactions and all of our economic activity in terms of how much energy is used. It isn't about emissions, folks. That's nonsense. And we've talked about that over and over again. No, it's about measuring what you do with energy. When you look at the CBDC objectives, or if they do it in some kind of a de facto manner where they surveil our economic activity, they're surveilling our use. That's what the carbon tax is about. It's a tax on your energy use, and this is technocratic in its essence. So they propose that we would just look at energy and energy use. That would be the way that we price all activity. It should serve as a basis for all economic transactions, which is what they're talking about. Forget about look, CO2 and methane. Oh, that's just smoke and mirrors to get you confused. It's really about measuring your energy use. The Technate would thus become self-contained and self-sustaining entity where wealth is defined by the availability of natural resources. Hence, they want to have their own personal power stations for their companies and for themselves, of course. It required a very particular environment, one with abundant natural resources, advanced industrial infrastructure, and a population trained to navigate the demands of highly mechanized society. The ideal setting, according to the early technocratic theorists, was North America, with its vast mineral wealth, fertile lands, and unmatched potential for hydroelectric and for industrial power. Canada, with its rich deposits of metals and minerals, and Greenland, with its untapped resources of rare earth elements, were integral to this vision. The Panama Canal was a lifeline connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, and it would further ensure the region's strategic autonomy from global supply chain. Most political analysts saw his rhetoric about Canada and Greenland as either bluster or opportunistic real estate maneuvering. Yet, when viewed through the lens of technocratic theory, a different logic emerges. The energy-intensive industries that would power a new era of American greatness require access to mineral reserves, to hydroelectric power, to strategic shipping routes. Canada's vast natural wealth, Greenland's potential as a future resource hub, and the Panama Canal's role as a vital artery of trade are not peripheral concerns. They are central to the construction of a modern technate and everything about it. All of this, we're going to have a global idea, global currency. It's going to measure your energy usage, not about emissions. Again, that's a smokescreen. By 2025, it seems key figures in its administration have recognized that achieving this vision would require more than tax cuts and deregulation. It would demand the strategic acquisition of resources and infrastructure beyond America's current borders, assets that could anchor a new era of technological and industrial expansion. The Technate is not merely a speculative idea, but it is a pragmatic blueprint for securing national prosperity in an increasingly multipolar world. Now, having said that, I know that the Trump fans will I put some truth out there that I know that they're going to say, see, he's on our side. He's going to make America great again. And he's going to do it by establishing a technocracy where everything that we do is measured in terms of the energy usage and controlled on that basis. Isn't that wonderful? Don't you love it? It's great because it's Trump. Now, if it was Klaus Schwab, it'd be bad. But if it's Trump or Musk, that's good now. And so it is the self-interested technate. Folks, this is elitism on steroids. It is Satanism on steroids.
That's right, boys and girls. There's a post-election sale on silver and gold. Trump euphoria has caused a dip in silver and gold. It's time to buy some metals with fiat dollars before they come to their senses. Go to davidknight.gold to get in touch with the wise wolf himself, Tony Arterburn. He knows where to look to find silver and gold.